Welcome to the June 2019 Village of Buchanan Board Meeting. In case of emergency, please use the exit to the right, or use the stairway behind the elevator. Please do not use the elevator. And if you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. So, tonight we are going to be recognizing our beautification committee, and I'm going to go up to the podium and call everyone up one at a time. And then also, right after that, we're going to have a presentation. Make sure I bring my glasses. Okay, I've got to make sure the mic is on. Hello, now you can hear me? Good, okay. Tonight we're going to recognize our beautification committee. They do a lot of great things here in the village. They do the containers coming into the village, the flowers. They do out at the circle all the beautiful roses and all the plants you see by our clock. They also do plantings on Monroe Park and all the barrels around the village. And this is all volunteer work. These ladies work very hard. They also have a couple of fundraisers each year. In the fall, they put the mum plants in. So this is a wonderful group of people, Buchanan residents, that really work hard to beautify the village, and I think they should be recognized for all their hard work. So as I call up your name, please come up. And if anyone would like to say anything after, please do. Okay, the first is Becky McElhanan. Thank you. Yes, please. Tanya Drezik. Thank you so much. Cheryl Gilmore. Elizabeth Keenan Rende. Eileen Outhouse. Lee Ann McCarthy. Linda Wiley. And Linda's a fairly new resident, but she jumped right in to help out the village. Thank you, Linda. And is Jean here? Jean is not here. Okay. All right, and I'm going to read what it says. It's a certificate of appreciation in grateful recognition of services rendered to the Village of Buchanan, State of New York. The village would like to thank you for your dedication to the Buchanan Beautification Committee. Thank you. And we're going to get a picture. Oh, over there. And everybody hold up your certificates. Yeah. Can I photobomb it?
Here we go. Take it to 1 and 2.
All right. Thank you. Great job, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Gwen. And next month, we're going to recognize the St. Pat's Committee, which some of them they work on both committees, so very active groups. And now I would like to introduce Jane Lemack and Robin Cook from the Women's Club of Peekskill, Cortland. Thank you. And they're going to explain what they'll be doing here in the village along with our beautification committee. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you for having us this evening. As the president of the Women's Club of Peekskill in Cortland, I would just like to tell you historically, our club was organized in 1934 by 6 very active, concerned community ladies of Peekskill. Over the years, they started with a very simple project, maybe not so simple at that time, of providing shoes for needy children at that time, with a difficult time in our history. Over the years, we have grown, and as the world has changed, our projects have changed, and we have gone into many other areas. Today, our philosophy as then is to promote community welfare. And since we are now Peekskill and Cortland, that includes the city of Peekskill and the town of Cortland. So we have expanded as well. Today we do a lot of things for the town. We donate to libraries, local food pantries. We work with Aunt Bessie's Open Door, Head Start in Peekskill. We give the children mittens at Christmas time. We prepare 4 holiday baskets for needy families from that school because they are all low-income children. We read to the children. We give each of the children this time of year a book to take home that is theirs to keep because we want to promote literacy. Jan Peek House is important to everyone. Once a month, our members, a group of them, prepare and serve a meal at the Jan Peek House, as well as we collect hotel toiletries for distribution to the Aunt Bessie's families, as well as the Jan Peek residents. We also serve the high school scholarships, high schools. We give 4 scholarships, 1 to each of 4 high schools, senior students, and each year. As well, and we also encourage high school students for the arts and creative writing by do a contest for each at our club level, which is adjudicated. And then from there, it can go on to state level competition, district level competition, state level competition, and national level competition, as we are a part of the GFWC, which is a General Federation of Women's Clubs, an international organization of women's clubs. Our women, we promote many things beyond that in the world. We donate and participate each year in the Harry Chapin Run Against Hunger that's held in Croton. Our members volunteer as well as do other things. We donate to international organizations, St. Jude's, Canine Companions, the USO, Roads Across America, and Saratoga War Horse Foundation. Our women promote awareness of, particularly for women and children, domestic abuse and child abuse. We want to promote awareness of that to try to prevent that from happening. If anyone would like other information about our group, or if you know of one thing I should say I forgot, we also in the community, we are currently fundraising and supporting the funds for 3 high school area students who are having severe health conditions, and they're very, very severe. So we are with the community. So if you know of anyone in the community, a family, a person who maybe could use our help, please let us know. We are a small group. We are always interested in having new members. We love having new members. And if you are interested in us, please let us know. I will give all our contact information to Mayor Knickerbocker. And here is Robin, and she's going to talk about our project.
Well, I contacted Mayor Knickerbocker because our group wanted to plant a pinwheel garden. You might have seen them. My son lives in Carmel, and I had passed there last year and seen a gigantic pinwheel garden by the lake. And it's something that we'd wanted to do. It's one of our national projects. There's a national campaign for Prevent Child Abuse Awareness. And they have two different programs. This is the one we're not doing, Healthy Families for America. It supports programs to help children to eat, to support parents on how to act, and to get the kids to be good community members in the future. But what we did was we wanted to do Pinwheels for Prevention. It's to raise awareness for child abuse. So the pinwheel is supposed to represent times of your youth when you were a child. Pinwheels are supposed to be fun. And it's a national campaign, so when you see pinwheels, you will think of trying to prevent child abuse. So we asked Mayor Knickerbocker if we could find a place in Buchanan to plant a pinwheel garden. And it's just to raise awareness. We're not trying to raise money or anything. They do that. You can donate to Child Abuse America, but we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to raise awareness. We would only have the pinwheels up for 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully they won't be taken. That's why we wanted a high visibility area, so a lot of cars would go by and kids wouldn't take them, but hopefully they'll stay. So we're hoping that we can do that. Mayor Knickerbocker wanted us to come and explain everything to you. But that was our plan, to hope to build a garden in Buchanan. And I wanted to thank Mayor Knickerbocker for letting us come and talk today. So thank you.
Oh, nice. All right, we're going to put this at Village Hall. Thank you, Jane and Robin. I didn't really understand so much about the Women's Club, so I'm glad you went and explained everything. And I know it sounds like a small group, but it sounds like a powerful group. So whatever we can do to support you, you support the community. I don't know if you ever have any fundraising events or, yeah, let us know, because we can, since you're helping the community, we can put that on our Facebook and let people become aware. Maybe going forward, you could maybe work with the beautification committee when they have their annual, they have their flower sale, and they have tables and everything at the pavilion, which was around Mother's Day. Also, we have Buchanan Day. I mean, if you want to come then, so whatever we can do to support you, definitely, we're there, for sure. And I know the beautification committee and you are going to work together to find the perfect spot for these pinwheels, and I think that's a great idea. It's really nice. Thank you so much. You guys work hard, too. Thank you very much. And thank you for the pinwheels.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go on to approve the minutes. March 26, 2019. Any comments, questions?
I have nothing.
Nothing for me.
Nothing.
Okay, and a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes from the April 2nd, 2019 organizational meeting.
I have nothing.
Yeah, nothing for me.
Okay.
Nothing yet.
On a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, comments from the floor on the agenda items only. Under new business, 5A, resolution authorizing the engineer to prepare specifications and for the clerk to advertise bids for our annual roadway work. Whereas the Village of Buchanan is desirous of repairing sections of roadway throughout the village, and whereas the village board has determined that the cost of such road work exceeds the limits mandated by state law for projects requiring bidding, now be it therefore resolved that the village engineer is to provide the village clerk with such specifications as are necessary to complete a proper bid package, and be it further resolved that the village clerk is authorized to advertise for bids for the road work after receiving the specs from the village engineer. So we are just starting with our road work. We usually have it completed by September or October. What did we budget, Kevin? It was $250,000 plus we had, here it is. We budgeted 250,000, and we have another 107,000 in the capital fund. And also, we usually receive some money from the CHIPS program.
The 107 includes 30,000 that we got from CHIPS.
Okay, but there was another program, I think the
It's
state.
paved New York, but that's only like $5,000 we get for pothole money, so it's not a significant.
Okay,
amount.
so that 38,000 was incorporated into the 107.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that was the CHIPS, the 38,000. Okay,
Correct.
now I remember, okay. On a motion,
So moved.
second?
Second.
On a question? All in favor?
Aye.
Oops,
Quick question.
sorry.
The initial, so we don't have as much as we've spent the last couple of years, but are there any, at this point, any key areas that are targeted, or is that still to be determined?
Myself, the highway foreman, and the engineer, about a week or so, a week and a half ago, took a ride around the whole village, suggesting and putting on a list of some of the roads that we think are in the greatest need for repair. We're going to try to package that into the amount of money so that we can, cover as much as we can and address some of the more significant issues.
Is the far end of the Lindsay over by the hardware store, as you approach that?
That
end,
is one area that we
one of
know.
the areas?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is one of the areas we know on the trip. So,
Thanks.
One
You're
of the
welcome.
areas we were considering doing was all of Lindsay Avenue. That's about 400,000. This year, there is more money than previous years.
Is there?
Yeah,
Didn't we spend
yeah.
closer to 4 or 5?
No, not,
Usually we have about $200,000 budgeted, and whatever we carry over from previous projects, the
Okay. I thought we
first
spent
year we
more
did
or
on
less
Blakely
the-
Avenue is because we had the money from the roadway bond.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So there's different areas that we will, we'll see what comes in on the bids. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Rich, if you could do the next two, B and C?
Next two.
Yes, please.
Okay. Village of Buchanan resolution authorizing the employment of seasonal help. Whereas during the spring-summer season, the village will employ individuals on a seasonal basis to assist at the highway department to fill in for employees taking their spring and summer vacations. And whereas it is desire of the village board to hire the following individual for a period of time beginning on June 7, 2019, and concluding on August 29, 2019. Now be it therefore resolved that the following individual will be and hereby are appointed subject to the village hiring policies as a seasonal employee to be paid at the hourly rate set forth next to their names. John Kearney, $12 an hour. Be it further resolved, the village administrator be and hereby is authorized to place the aforementioned individual on the village payroll for the summer season and to pay the salaries as set forth above.
Okay. On the motion?
So moved.
Question? Second, I mean,
Second.
on a question? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this is something we do every year. We're going on to the pool personnel, then camp personnel. So it's, June is our hiring of our summer employees.
The Village of Buchanan resolution authorizing the employment of recreation personnel for the pool. Whereas the village employs individuals on a seasonal basis during the summer for its recreational activities, and whereas the recreation supervisor has recommended summer personnel, now be it therefore resolved that the individuals on the annexed list hereby are appointed as pool staff for the 2019 summer season at the salaries and rates of pay set forth to their names. And be it further resolved that the village administrator be and hereby is authorized to place the aforementioned individuals on the village payroll for the summer season and to pay the salaries as set forth herein.
Okay. Thank you. On a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
On a question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Nick, if you could do resolution authorizing the employment of recreational personnel to camp.
Yes, absolutely. So, whereas the village employs individuals on a seasonal basis during the summer for its recreational activities, and whereas the recreation supervisor has recommended summer personnel, now be it therefore resolved that the individuals on the annexed list hereby are appointed as camp staff for the 2019 summer season beginning July 1st, 2019 through August 8th, 2019 at the salaries and rates of pay set forth next to their names. And be it Further resolved that the village administrator be and hereby is authorized to place the aforementioned individuals on the village payroll for the summer season and to pay the salaries as set forth herein. And about a couple of sheets of names, which we don't have to read. So, correct? We don't need to
Correct,
read
yeah,
that?
there's a substantial
it,
amount of
yeah.
people we hire for the camp.
Yeah.
On a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
On a question? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Trustee Pasquale, could you read Resolution E, authorizing use of a village facility?
Yes, ma'am. Whereas the village trustees of the Village of Buchanan have received a request for the use of the village pavilion from Tom Cavalieri for family reunions on August 25th, 2019, and September 5th, 2019, at which time beer and wine will be available. Now be it therefore resolved that the requests are hereby approved, subject to the applicants complying with all village requirements for the use of this facility, including full-time adult supervision of the serving of beer and wine.
Okay. On a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
On a question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, information from officers and departments, the Justice Court report for April 2019. One was $1,418, the other was $200. Police reports, April 2019. And once again, a lot of medical aided, 13. I'm just picking out some of them. No, village code violation, 6. Utility complaint, 5. Fire calls, 5. So I'm just picking out some. Assist other agencies, 6. Arrest, total arrest, 9. Received and filed. Attorney's report. Do you have anything for us this evening, Stephanie?
I do, but only in executive session.
Okay, we'll go into exec session. Okay, administrator's report. Kevin, what do you have for us tonight?
I just have a few things. Just wanted to remind everybody tax bills are due by July 1st, just to let everybody know. At the wastewater treatment plant, we have our annual evaluation from Westchester County Department of Health this Friday. So with the help of Allied and our own employees, I think we're all up to snuff and everything should go well. And I'll report back next month in the report on how that goes. But I don't suspect we have any issues going on with that. I just want to talk about the local waterfront revitalization plan grant that we got. The mayor and I went up to the town of Cortland today, and we met with the Cortland officials and members of the interviewing team, which I was one of as well. We narrowed it down as the interviewing team to, we interviewed all 4 firms that put in a proposal. We narrowed it down to 2, and we discussed it today, and in the end, we decided to go with Buchanan Planning and Design Associates. They also were involved in the Peekskill and Croton LWRP plan, so they seemed to put together the best plan for us. So that was a grant that we got with the town for $250,000 to cover this. And looking at this firm, their numbers fit into that, and we'll maybe even have some money to do some zoning work as well with that grant. So I just want to let everybody know where we were with that. Moving forward, we're going to need about 5 residents, staff, however we break it down, from the Village of Buchanan, 5 from the town of Cortland, to be on an advisory committee for that. They'll be meeting monthly and put the input in for the village on how the plan should move forward. So we'll probably do a resolution. Hopefully we can find those people by the July meeting, and we would do the same as what the town will do, is do a resolution awarding that to the firm, as well as potentially putting the 5 names on the list as our members of the advisory committee. So I just wanted to update you on that, where we were with that. Part-time caretaker, we've gotten 1 application, so we held it open for another month. Hopefully after that, we'll move forward with that position. I just want to let everybody know that. And final issue on my list tonight is, I know the board already knows, and many of the staff knows, that as of July 19th, I've accepted another position at the town of North Castle as the town administrator, and I will be leaving here at the Village of Buchanan. So I guess it's more for the residents so the word gets out there. It was a very tough decision. I've been here for almost 10 years and enjoyed my time here, but it was a good opportunity, and I'm going to miss working here. So that's all for my report tonight.
Okay. And we're going to miss you too, Cav.
Thank you.
You're part of the family here, so. And, yeah, we're sad to see you go, for sure. You were very good to work with, and, but we have one more meeting with you, so we'll give you the goodbye on next July, in July, at our July meeting. So, but thank you for all that you do for the village.
Thank you.
When you spoke about the waterfront revitalization, Trustee Zachary has volunteered to be the liaison and also to be on that committee. And I believe he's been working on getting
A few
5
names as
people.
well, yes.
So, but I think Nick is probably there now with that.
Perfect. Good.
Yeah.
Well,
Excellent.
I believe we have one or two that we're waiting to hear from. I mean,
Well-
we're close there.
Yeah, we're very close. I think
Okay.
we will have
Yeah.
the 5,
Yeah,
but if
sounds
there's, okay, thank you. Like I said, next month, the St. Patrick's Day Committee will be recognized. Thank you to all our volunteers. We are in the process of doing something fun. I had gotten information that, from the county exec, that there is a town day in the county, and Buchanan's Day is July 2nd. So we're trying to, and we couldn't put it in, this is late-breaking news, really. We couldn't put it in our flyer, so we're going to be putting it on Facebook and trying to get the word out there. So it's July 2nd, and the discounts include 1 free mini golf entry, 2-for-1 ride admission, 1 free beach or pool admission, $1 off of 1 food value meal, and $5 discount for parking. But what we're looking to do is if we get enough people, we will get a bus, and the residents can take the bus down to Playland and enjoy Playland for a day. I haven't been there in quite a while myself. But it's July 2nd, and that's when our July meeting is. So I'm not sure if we're going to, if the board, we'll let you know, but we're not sure if the board will schedule a meeting the week after. We'll see how that works out. But we'll see how many people are interested. So any Buchanan residents, please call our office or call Nancy in the Recreation Department if you're interested in coming, okay? Sounds like a fun thing.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Let's see. The chief will still be here, the chief of police. We're going to talk about coyotes yet. This Monday, May 10th, the board has been invited to the grand opening of Continental Building Products. They are going to have one of the largest arrays of solar panels on top of their building. So that should be an interesting thing. As they go forward, my understanding is that they will be potentially selling some of that power to local, people who live locally in the area. So, but I'll have more information next month on that.
I would imagine it just goes into the grid.
Yeah, I'm not sure with this, because they were saying something, that there was another way. So we'll know more, I'll find out. We'll find out who's going from the board. Everyone has been invited. Oh, that's true, yes. June 13th is our first Citizens Advisory Panel. That will be next Thursday, 6 p.m. Any of the residents that can come out, please do. This is going to be the first of many meetings on the decommissioning of Indian Point. This definitely affects our community. We want to make sure that it is done safely. And so the first meeting is going to be mostly an overview of the decommissioning process. There'll be another meeting sometime in the fall. And as things are happening with the plant, there'll be meetings. So I guess each year there'll be about 4 meetings. There'll be quarterly meetings. But there's a lot of information. There's a lot to the decommissioning process. So I definitely would like to see the residents out there, input and commenting and whatever, because we have other people who will certainly be commenting, but this is your home, this is your community. So I'd like to see everyone as many people from Buchanan there.
Where is it going to be?
Thank you, Rich. We're going to be sending out a press release on Thursday. It's going to be at the Union Hall at the corner of McKinley and Welcher. It's the old McKinley School, and that's where we'll have the meetings. They will be taped. There will be minutes done. This is an official meeting. The NRC requests that there's community panels. It's mostly to disseminate the information of what's going on over there, but also we are not an oversight board because the NRC controls the decommissioning process. What we do is we would advise, so if there's something we see on the property as we go through the decommissioning process that we think should be done differently or better, or we have a question with or a concern, then, you know, this is what this panel is also going to do. We're going to speak up about this process. I am going to, if the chief is ready, I'm going to turn it over to you about coyotes. We've had many complaints about coyotes here in the village. So I know everyone is concerned, but thank you, Eric, for doing that for us.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of the Board of Trustees. We've gotten a couple of complaints about coyotes in the village. It's a common problem in this area of Westchester County, actually even down into lower Westchester County, as a matter of fact. And certainly as you go further north, there's more and more interactions with humans and coyotes. So a lot of people are under the misconception that coyotes can be trapped rather easily by the police or captured by us or animal control. That's not the case. What we've done, what I did, just to refresh my own recollection, is I did contact the DEC in regards to this. I spoke to the officer that covers this area, and he was clear that they won't even handle coyotes unless they're sick or present a public safety hazard, and that would be meaning that they were sick. In order to actually get a coyote off of your property, if you wanted to do so, you'd have to hire a trapper, and that's a very specialty or a special skill set that trappers have to catch the coyotes. They're not very easy to catch, not like a raccoon or a skunk or something like that. So it's very difficult. Agencies in this area, including the Village of Buchanan, I'm familiar with the City of Peekskill, obviously, with their policy handling coyotes, the DEC's policy, and the village or the town of Yorktown. I spoke to them as well, and they're all consistent with DEC in that leave them alone. Coyotes want nothing to do with us. I understand that we want nothing to do with them, but they're just as scared of you as you are potentially of them. There are some things that can be done, and in fact, if you talk to your neighbors, you can encourage them as well. You basically wouldn't harden the target, so to speak. Incidents where people are feeding their pets outside, leaving dog food out, cat food out, that's going to attract coyotes to your yard and to your property. So obviously you want to refrain from doing that. You know, and again, I'm not saying this to scare anybody. It's just to educate cats that are left outside. They are at risk, just as they are if a dog is going to chase them. Coyotes are known to prey on cats, so take care with your cats as well. If you do come into conflict with a coyote, the thing that's recommended to do the most is to just make yourself look big, make some loud noises, clap, scream, hey. That'll tend to scare them off. Now, if you see a coyote who is not scared by your presence, that is an indication that they may be ill, may be sick, and then that would be a situation where the DEC would come in, or we would come in as well. The village police would come in and handle that as a nuisance animal or as a potential public safety issue. In New York State, just so you know, I know people have talked about taking care of the problem on their own. You do need a permit to take a coyote, and in order to get a permit, you have to prove that they're a nuisance to your property, and namely to livestock, so it's mainly for farmers. So it really doesn't apply in the village here. Just some other things that are mentioned in the DEC guidelines. Make sure your garbage is covered. Again, just common sense approach. Talk to your neighbors, let people know that they are around. The biggest thing is they are more scared of you than you are of them. And if you do see one that's sick, certainly give us a call. If you see one in your yard and you're afraid, I mean, you can give us a call and we'll come through and make noise and try and get them out of there as well. if that's something that he would like us to do. But just keep in mind, we cannot trap them. We're not equipped to do that as a police department or as a village. And just to reiterate, those trappers that do take care of that, it is a special skill set, so there's not a lot of people that actually do it. So I don't know if you had any questions for me on that matter.
I know someone had mentioned, you know, with the town of Cortland, you know, we use their animal control officer sometimes, and that's not something that they trap, are coyotes or wildlife.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. Animal control, for the most part, is for domestic animals. They will venture into raccoons and skunks and possums and things like that, just because it's fairly easy to catch those. But once you start getting beyond that, into coyotes and foxes, and look, I got to tell you, I grew up here my whole life, and the wildlife that we're seeing now is nothing like I saw when I was a kid. I mean, I have turkeys in my yard. I caught a fox on my Ring camera the other day, and a raccoon jumping up on my roof. I mean, they're all over the place. So it's just you know, where we live. It's nature. You know, embrace it as something that's you know, kind of cool to look at. I had a turkey looking in I'm watching TV, the turkey's looking in the window at me. My wife didn't believe me. I swear to God it happened. They're all over the place. So, you know, it's not as intimidating as a coyote, I get that. But again, just take some common sense steps to minimize your chances of interacting with a coyote, and I think we'll be fine.
Chief,
Yes.
do we still have authorization with a sick coyote or something to tranquilize it?
We have a tranquilizer gun, but it's not sufficient to take down an animal that size. We would have to dispatch that using a firearm. We'd probably use our shotgun. But again, that's something that you know, you really have to weigh the risk versus reward and the issues that can come of that. You know, what we would probably do in that situation is bring the DEC in and have them take care of it. They have some larger equipment that can handle it, and would be a little bit more humane or easier to take. It's, you know, it's not a pretty situation, but again, if it is a public safety issue, and look, they're well publicized when they happen. We've heard about the incidents down county in Rye, I think about 10 years ago or so, that there was some well publicized incidents. There was one, I think, in Larchmont or somewhere in that area where an off-duty police officer actually intervened. I mean, they're few and far between. They do make the news because they're so rare. But if something were to happen and it wasn't an incident that was going to impact public safety, we would react as we would in any other incident to take care of the problem immediately, just for the public safety.
Thank you.
Chief, have we had any encounters either with people or pets that are reported? Or just
Not
that people are seeing
People
them?
have seen them. I know there's at least one person who has one in their yard, and they're trying to get rid of them. You know, and it's the time of year too. It's as the weather just turned. There's deer out there that just had baby deer, and that's an attraction to the coyotes. So it's more time of year, but there's been no negative confrontations or negative encounters that I'm aware of. In terms of any animals or
They will go after cats that are just out?
Yeah, I mean, they are known to do that. They are a predatory animal, and so it's
I have,
something to be careful of.
A lot of chipmunks and rabbits in my yard this year, and that usually means I'm not seeing cats, so I wonder if it's related.
They'll go after the rabbits as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, as well the birds. I mean, you've got hawks that'll take chipmunks. And
Yeah.
We live in that kind of area. Like I said, it's something that
Wild
a lot of
Kingdom.
people can embrace and see the good side of that.
And we've kind of pushed out a lot of this wildlife by the building and building and building, so, you know, they don't have too many more places to go.
It works both ways, though, because with more building and they don't have places to go, they wind up in the suburban yards.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it works both ways.
One of the comments, two comments the resident had made to me is, one was they heard that someone on Tate Avenue was feeding the coyotes. So once again, please, this is not a domestic animal. This is wildlife. Please do not leave any food out. Please cover your garbage cans. I'm just repeating what you said, because these animals are looking for food. So if there's no food here, they're going to go look where there's food. So let's all work together to get this done. Another thing is, somebody had said that people were starting to think of using guns or rifles or shotguns themselves to kill these coyotes, and I would ask the public, please do not do that. That's a dangerous situation in a small community. We could
And
get
it's
into
illegal.
the chief, and it's illegal. You're not supposed to be shooting them or trapping them without a permit, but it's a dangerous situation. Remember that, because these bullets can ricochet, and, you know, it
Yeah.
can be a bad situation, so please.
There's no circumstance where a resident should be using a firearm, or a bow and arrow for that matter. There's some hunters here, I'm sure. That's absolutely not safe and against the law, and will not be tolerated.
All right, thank you.
There's also another thing with that, as I was speaking to somebody about the coyote. I've seen it, and I've only seen the one. But he had mentioned that perhaps this coyote may have a litter somewhere, and that's why we're seeing so much of it, because it's got to feed its babies, obviously.
Very possible.
So, you know, just be careful. There might be more than one popping up eventually, but just, you know, not to scare anybody, but just give you a heads up with that.
I don't know if you wanted me to talk about the Click It or Ticket campaign that we had. I guess I mentioned.
You can talk whatever you want,
Okay, I just
Chief.
wanted to bring up last
You're
week.
on.
I mentioned to the board, I myself was questioned by some people why there was an increase in traffic enforcement in the area. I mentioned it to the board in case people were curious. You may have seen Buchanan officers, as you probably have seen Westchester County, Peekskill State Police, increase in traffic stops in the last 2 or 3 weeks. That coincides with New York State's Click It or Ticket campaign, which we participated in. And it was designed, as it always is, to just get the word out and to increase compliance with the New York State law that requires seatbelt use and child safety seats. So that's done every May into June to coincide with Memorial Day, and just to let the public know that's why they may have seen that. We'll be participating in similar initiatives as they come up throughout the state, just to stay on board with that and to keep the word out. Again, our role is, and our goal is compliance as opposed to writing tickets. I myself was never the biggest ticket writer in the world. I'll be the first to admit it. I like to educate people, and I tend to encourage that, but sometimes we do have to issue a summons. But again, the goal is to educate people and keep people safe, and we'll be participating in those sorts of initiatives as they come forth moving forward.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Good job. I'd like to just go back with the wildlife for just 1 second. What we're seeing more and more is there's a couple instances in the village. Please do not pile wood, clippings, brush, leaves. You know, there's a couple areas in the village where people are starting to throw things in the back of their yard, over fences, and there's just mounds of debris, and that is an excellent place for these animals to have their nest. So let's, you know, put the stuff out to the curb, or if you have a company that comes in to take down trees or do yard work, please have them remove that stuff. We don't want to have homes for these animals. We want them to go back into the woods or away from civilization here. And the last thing I'm going to mention, it's that time of the year again that I have to say this, and I can't believe I say this every year. It just boggles my mind I have to even say it. You know, the residents in the village really keep their lawns nice. They keep their lawns cut. They have beautiful flowers. And, you know, they take pride in all the work they do in their lawns. So what I would ask again this year, and I don't know what else to do. People have asked about putting signs up, like the dogs not to pee or poo in other people's yards. And I hate to see those signs popping up around the village. I hate to see the board take a stronger stance on that, enforcing that. You know, I'll just give you a case that I had Saturday night. I just happened to be looking out the window. It was about 10 o'clock, walking the dog down the road, and I have flowers at the end of my driveway. And what did the dog do? Went up and peed on my flowers. So I'm like, okay. A day later, same person comes by, and I just ask nicely, please do not have the dog pee on my flowers. Thank you. So, but you know what? Let's just curb the dogs. That's all I'm asking. Like, don't go on people's lawns. Don't dig in there. Let the dogs dig in other people's flowers. Let's keep the village beautiful. So if we could all just remember, just as we walk the dogs, I know there's somebody out here that's very good when he's walking his dog. Thank you very much. But so I just wanted to say that because I get a lot of complaints about that. All right, thank you. And
People don't understand that curbing your dog means on the street side of the curb, not on the grass side of the curb.
thank you. That's good. That's good. Thank you for clarifying that. And please also, nothing gets thrown down the drains, our village drains, because those drains go right out into the lake. And that's not good for the health of the lake. Okay, I think I've said enough. Trustee Jackson, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, I just want to echo what you were saying, that, you know, it's summertime, and a lot of people are out walking their dogs and taking walks, and that's very good. But please, you know, curb the animals, because I've had a couple of incidents down around Lake Drive, which is kind of out of the way place, and, you know, that issue, and certainly making sure that nothing's thrown into the storm drains. So just be mindful of that, and if you're going out, you know, take a couple of plastic bags with you and hold on to them until you get back to your own house and dispose of them. Thank you.
All right, thank
That's
you.
it.
Trustee Funchin.
Thank you, Mayor. Kevin, we're going to miss you. You've been a great manager of the village, and you've worked very well with everybody in the village, and you will be sorely missed. Hate to see you go. Just the thing on the dog thing with the lawn. I'm a dog owner myself, so be aware there's an awful lot of people use fertilizers and weed killers on their lawns. That's going to get your dog sick. So keep them off. There's a reason. If you love your dog, keep them off the lawns. They won't get sick. The other thing that Trustee Jackson brought up about being summertime, I would like to hope that the people who own motorcycles would have a little respect for everybody in the village. Everybody likes to sit out on their porch, their deck, or whatever they have, and when you can't hear yourself talk to the person next to you because they're revving up a bike, it's just not respectful to the rest of the community. Both the mayor and I attended, I think, I don't know whether you forgot to mention about Senator Harkin's, I guess I would call it a press conference,
Yes.
about the closing of Indian Point, mainly coming around with the labor that is working there, that we have to protect, and we hope to protect those people, that they will maintain their jobs until the actual plant's closed, because as we all know, it's being sold. So it's, the plant employs a lot of people, a lot of our local people, and also those people contribute to the local economy, so we want to keep them there as long as possible. This Thursday will be the 75th anniversary of the invasion in Europe. I know there'll be a lot of things going on, and I'd just like to make the comment that I had the great opportunity to visit Normandy, and the village of St. Marguerite, which is where a lot of the paratroopers landed. I think they're probably more pro-American than Americans are. They love Americans, and they show their appreciation still this many years after. But it is an extremely, extremely emotional trip. When you see all those thousands and thousands of graves, and you see that what they were up against, it's just, there's a Coast Guard station there, there's there now, what is the site of a German gun, and that one gun killed 1,500 Americans. So it was just so atrocious that you could see, and it's, the American section is very well done, and they show film, and I don't think anybody, man, woman, child, leaves there without tears in their eyes. So it's, They were known as the greatest generation, and they surely deserve that accolade as the greatest generation. And finally, a happy Father's Day to everybody coming up. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Rich. I also wanted to mention the legislation that Senator Harcum and Assemblywoman Galiff introduced. Also, if it passes, it helps the Village of Buchanan. Currently, the spent fuel casks are not taxed because they're not considered, they're not assessed or taxed because they're not considered real property. So what this legislation is trying to do is to put the spent fuel cask on the tax, to be able to be taxed. So that will benefit the village. That's another source of money. And as I've said before, we would prefer that the spent fuel casks are removed off the pads and out of the village. But the Department of Energy has had some challenges finding a permanent repository, and that hasn't happened in 30 years. So we're not looking for that to happen anytime soon. So that will end up being more of a on the permanent basis. So we're hoping that that legislation gets passed so that we see some revenue from that. Thank you, Rich. Trustee Zachary, what do you have for us tonight?
Thank you. I want to personally thank the Beautification Committee. I think they do a great job. I think the most impressive thing was when I went past and they were working on the circle, at least one of the planters was barefoot. One of the people working was barefoot. So they're the barefoot gardeners, but everything looks so nice, and I just want to thank them. And the Beautification Committee should be the frosting on the cake, and the whole village is the cake. So even if you don't have an interest in gardening and aren't going to put out a lot of flowers, try to keep things nice. If there's a bulk pickup, don't put it out a week before so it's all sitting there. If you have kids, teach them not to throw their candy wrappers on the ground. If you smoke cigarettes, take that filter, put it in the garbage, okay? Or buy filterless cigarettes. They're probably better for you. You know, everybody just play your little role and try to keep things neat and nice. If you like to garden, great. If not, just keep things neat so that the Beautification Committee is frosting on the cake. We had a workshop on May 14th, which was not a regular workshop, so a lot of people might have not noticed that we had that, and that workshop was specifically to go over possible changes to our zoning. I personally pushed for this because I felt there were some aspects of the zoning code that are outdated, some that are restrictive, some things that could be more positive to encourage development, and you know that it would be best for the board to review this. It's not something that'll be done overnight, but I'd like to ask that at our next workshop we take at least some time to resume that conversation.
Absolutely.
And you know, also in terms of anything rezoning, there could be legal questions. So it's an ongoing process, but we'll at the next workshop, regular workshop, at the end of this month, I think it's the last Tuesday of the month.
28th.
Is it the 28th? 25th.
Oh, I'm in June. You're right. I'm sorry.
25th.
I apologize.
June
The
25th, the next workshop, we'll continue that
Sorry.
discussion if anybody is interested. We had a couple of things that have come up in the last few months. I'd like to, you know, just sort of keep stirring the pot to make sure that they don't get forgotten. We talked about changing the parking on Route 9A, proposing a plan to the state so that we could take over the parking enforcement on Route 9A between Blakely and Tate. We're waiting for the repaving to be done, and we're waiting to see what the what the state does with certain intersections, and then we will hopefully resume that. And also, we had talked about doing a more proactive letter and enforcement of the new trailer law we passed about a year ago. And in so doing, I think we discovered there were a couple of possible things we might want to change. So I'm going to also ask if we could have a discussion on that at the next workshop. So just to keep things moving. And that's all I have.
All right.
Enjoy June. It's a great month before it gets too hot.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right, thank you, Nick. Trustee Cesare Pasquale.
Thank you. Just a couple of things.
Okay.
Was it a couple of weeks ago, I think, Mayor Knickerbocker, Rich Function and myself had the pleasure to march in the Montrose Memorial Day Parade. So it's always a privilege to be invited and to be able to march and throughout the community. Want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day, and this is for Kevin. Village will miss you. You know, and thank you for all the help that you've given me, especially, and you always took the time to answer my questions. And where are you going? North Castle? North Castle's gonna be really lucky to have you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, Rich, did you have something else?
Yeah, I had forgotten to mention that the Veterans Barbecue is at the Pavilion on June 20th from 11:30 to 2 p.m. So all the veterans come out and enjoy the day.
All right. And we're up to comments from the floor. Any comments? Okay, Reed.
Good evening. Reed Outhouse, 241 Westchester Avenue. Just quick question. You brought up, Nick, you brought up Route 9A. The paving, the pre-work I see is going on in Montrose.
I think that's separate. I think that what they're doing there is the sidewalks.
Yeah, they're doing the sidewalks. I assume
Oh,
they're
yes, I
doing
guess
it,
that is
getting ready for
pre-work,
the
yes,
paving.
to get the curbs in, yeah.
Have we interfaced with the state at all about the ongoing forever drainage issues between, really, I guess, around Lindsay Avenue down to White Street? It's been an issue
That's not what
forever.
this was focused on, but Kevin might.
We did
know
reach
some-
out to them because the highway foreman gave me some pictures. I forwarded on to their engineer. This is primarily a mill and pave job,
Yeah,
but they said that they did have some work with some pop-up drains and stuff that they were looking at installing. But
Okay.
it was primarily a mill and pave.
I know being a longtime member of the firehouse, on our side, we usually fare pretty well.
Right.
But I know some
The
of the
other side.
businesses along there, I mean, they get,
Beat up
they
when
have to
the heavy rain.
sandbag and do all that kind of stuff.
They were
so-
gonna do some minor drainage, but it was primarily mill and pave.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Reed. Okay, no other comments from the floor? Okay. So, I just want to give a big thank you again to the Beautification Committee and the Women's Club of Cortland Peekskill. Great job, they do good work, and we will continue to support them. And I want to wish everyone a happy June, and have a great Buchanan Day. Thank you. Oh,
Close the meeting.
I have to close the meeting. On a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, and now I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss employee personnel issues. On a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks again for coming.